Hey, biscuits! Have you been mugged recently? Has something been stolen off your car? So, I was talking to my sister, and I think my sister she's an interesting combo. I think you would put her in the woke liberal category, but she's very socially conservative on a one-to-one basis. I don't know. People are complex, right? That's why I hate all of the, you know, you're either woke or you're MAGA or, like these extreme political things that we try to identify with. I'm just trying to describe socially where she's at. Liberal lady. So she's annoyed at me because every time I chat with her, I'm like, so has anything gotten stolen out of your car? What's the crime like? And she gets mad at me because every time I ask, there is a new crime to report. People have gone through her car. Her coworker had her catalytic converter stolen out of her driveway while her car was parked. And so it's not that my sister's, I think, so much annoyed that I ask her these questions. It's that I'm right. Every time I ask, there is some kind of new thing that's happened to somebody she knows. And I mean, I do it because, like, if you don't laugh, you cry. And I am not an expert. Do not have a degree in political science. I have no idea why crime feels like it's gotten so crazy. I know as a parent, it's actually made me change my routines. Western Washington has a big kind of human trafficking, uncomfortable situation with that. Maybe because, we're a big hub on freeways in international Canada. And I don't know why. These are the things I've been told, but I don't know if that's accurate or why the reason is. And I've actually stopped going to some of the grocery stores that we used to frequent because they've had such big issues in the parking lots of, like, people stalking moms with kids and all sorts of creepy things. There's one parking lot you can't go to anymore that has a thrift store that I really like because it's where all the stolen goods get traded in that parking lot. So, like, everything stolen from the Home Depot and Lowe's, people just sell there in the parking lot. It's a crazy time. And I knew it was crazy once I started changing my patterns. And once I talked to even my brother, I was talking to him about it. And they said that, they've kind of changed up what parts of town they go to. And in no way is it like we won't go to the really scary bad street or something. It's areas that you would never have normally even thought about having an issue, now having issues. Like areas of town that I can't afford to live in are way nicer than where I live. And people are having things just stolen out of their front yard and insane stuff that you don't even think is real. And it really hit home when myself and everybody I know in Western Washington is like, they're rethinking their routines and stuff. They're being a little more cautious, or maybe they've totally changed up their routines over what makes them feel safe. And that's just a weird time to be in. I'm really curious, biscuits. I know that many of you are from the US, but a good chunk of you are from the UK and Europe, and I am so curious to hear. Let me know in the comments. I will reply and chat with you. What's crime been like for the last two and a half years? Have you seen an increase where you are? What has it affected in your day-to-day life? Yeah, everybody I know too has had their car broken into at least once in the last 2 years, myself included. It's just like across the board. And even violent crime is like starting to spike up, which is really weird because I think I live in a really safe area, so it's strange to hear that in the news. But I'm so curious how other countries are feeling about this, or other parts of the US that aren't Western Washington. I would love to hear about it. And I didn't want to talk about this at first because I thought I don't want to be like fear-mongering or finger-pointing, or I don't mean this in like a political or a social way. It's just as a parent and as a woman, which is kind of what this channel is a whole lot about. It's really been something that I've been observing and has kind of not changed my outlook, but like changed my routines that I would normally take part in, right? And I think that's something notable. How does it affect your parenting? There's been stuff going on in the school districts in the area that have been really weird. And so it's just kind of made me want to hunker down a little bit more. And I don't want to be a fear-mongered person. I don't want to be one of those people that like consumes all that doom news and then lets it get to me and has a really negative outlook. And, you know, I don't want to affect my family with that negative outlook. And so sometimes I have a hard time gauging what is just fear-mongering from the media, or not all media, but from journalists who don't feel like their job is to report, but instead to influence, right? And in modern medias, that's just the nature of the beast. And what is like legitimate changes that one has to make. And I don't know, I haven't come to a conclusion on that or anything, but it's really been something on my mind where I've tried to be more intentional with how I'm thinking about my environment out and about, that if I'm feeling fearful or if I'm feeling angry about something, I really need to like stop and give myself mentally a moment to approach that and understand it and kind of break it down and look at where it's coming from, so that I don't feel fearful, so I don't feel angry, so I don't feel kind of shell-shocked, you know, coming out of all the mini lockdowns and everything and into the world and then kind of having the world go, woo, what's going on? So it's really making me live more intentionally. And I'm hoping that's something that will rub off in my parenting if I'm living a more intentional life about what my inner monologue is telling me, you know, how I am processing the information that's coming at me in the world. Because it's so important to not get bogged down. You know, the world's problems don't need to rest on your shoulders. You cannot solve every problem. You do not have the control or power to fix everything. All you and I have is the ability to change the way we process and interact with the world, right? And so that really goes back to something I talk so much about on my Patreon, is kindness and being kind to ourselves first, so that then naturally that kindness just overflows into the world around us, so that we are kinder and more forgiving and more generous to the people around us with our time and our love, you know? And that's kind of what this has really made me, it's reinforced to me how important that is. I don't have the ability to control everything around me, but I do, and you do, have the ability to spread kindness more and to make the world happier and more joyful, even in times of stress. And I mean, I see it everywhere that people they're stressed out, they're angry, they're behaving poorly, and I don't want to contribute to that. You know, I really want to be somebody that when you walk away from chatting to me, you're at least neutral, if not a little bit happier than when you started talking to me. And, you know, I want my family to be happier because I am in their family, right? I want my children to be more joyful because I am their mama. And so I really try to be conscious of how am I living right now. This seems like a very good time to really, really try to walk that walk of living with grace and living with kindness, because it's so easy to get pulled on down into the muck, and nobody wins at muck wrestling. I mean, maybe it's fun to watch, it probably is. It's like, pull their hair, you know, muck wrestling. I would watch that show. Is that probably like a Netflix reality show at this point, wrestling in the muck? Let me know in the comments. I will see you in the next video, biscuits. I appreciate you coming along. I've kind of I've been talking more about like stuff going on in the world than I have recently. I had a lot of hot topics, debates, and emails. Thanks for those long emails about domestic abuse when I posted that video the other week. It's okay. Everybody gets to have their own opinion in life. And I really feel like it's good to have passion about what we believe. It's good to have passion about how we observe the world. But it's really important to have our focus be kindness and happiness, you know, and not stir in a pot of anxiety and stress. Oh, I hope talking about current events and stuff is stressing you out. Let me know. I can go back to non-current events. They've just really been on my mind. I guess they've been weighing on me, and so I've wanted to chat about it. And I don't normally find all this stuff weighing on me so much, but of late it just has. And I don't even mean that in an exclusively negative way. Part of it too is just kind of, there's been a lot of change in the last couple of years. And so it's making me reapproach my lifestyle, my family's lifestyle. What are our priorities? What are things that we need to strip away that were negative parts of our lives, you know? And it's not a final be-all solution, but it's definitely something that, because these topics have been so on my mind, that I have wanted to talk to everybody I know about them, including you biscuits, who I feel like I know. So many of you I have chatted with in comments, I've emailed with, I've DM'd with on Instagram, I've talked with on Patreon, and it's so fun to feel like when I'm talking to the camera, I'm talking to you and I know you. I think that's awesome. So that's why I want to share these things. But let me know if you find it too stress-inducing. I will not talk about current events too much. It's just, you know, it's a topic at hand, I guess. Hand. I was going to try to make a mom pun, but I resisted. Okay, biscuits, I'll see you in the next video.